And hello, everybody, and welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX ecosystem, like every Wednesday at 8 a.m. UTC. I receive and we speak about what's happening on MultiversX. Today we have a very great program because first of all, I will be receiving the COO of Prediqs, one of the projects selected for the growth game. It's a grant program organized by MultiversX Foundation, and this project raised many questions. And so we are lucky to have the COO to come live here to try to answer all of them. Um, and after, I'll be joined by my friends Joaquim from Gaupa Labs and Davy from Hatom and Soul to speak about a very hot topic about MultiversX. It's about governance. Um, but first of all, I would like to thank the partners of this show. And yeah, let's try by Hatem. I think you know Hatem. Hatem is the leading lending, borrowing, liquid staking, and native stable coin protocol and application on MultiversX. Let me share my screen so you can see their app. So in their intuitive app, you can do everything. Actually, you can lend, you can borrow, so you can generate very juicy yields. You can liquid stake also, and so egld, and you can also mint some native stable coin. They launched the first one in the ecosystem, the USH. And if you hold their native token, the HTM token, you can boost your positions and so the yield. So you can find the link in the description if you want to make your ESDT work in DeFi. It is, in my opinion, the best place to do this. So thank you very much, Hatem, for the support. And the second partner of this show for month now is EAPS. So EAPS is one of the maybe the biggest and the oldest NFT collection on MultiversX. So I'm sure you know their art. But this is interesting to know that they launched a collection, a side collection on Solana, a little bit more than 3,000 NFTs, and they sold it out in partnership with Magic Eden. So now it's a cross-chain NFT project. So you have the art, and you have the roadmap, technological, metaverse, playable jungles, and this is a community. First of all, EAPS is a community, resilient, benevolent, all around the world, as you can see in this map. And yeah, very cool. So thank you very much, EAPS, for the support. It means a lot to us to organize this show every Wednesday. It's been more than 50 editions since last September to talk unfiltered and uncompromised about MultiversX. So what is great, because there are many things that are great, but also about the different problems, the different doubt about the strategy, about what's happening in the ecosystem. And before maybe an alt season, I think it's important for all of us to know what's happening in our beloved blockchain. So before we start, it's important for us. Please subscribe, like, put a comment in the comment section on X, on YouTube. We are also on Twitch. So if you don't follow us, do it now. Cost nothing for you, but means a lot to us. And yeah, if you guys are ready, let's welcome my first guest of today. Sorry if I am a bit slow because I doesn't work. I just slept for 3 hours, some allergy problems. So yeah, but it's going to be okay. So let's welcome Atlas, who is COO of Prediqs. Atlas, hello, Atlas.
Okay, I think I'm live right now, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, hello everyone. Bonjour, monsieur. Comment ça va?
I'm good. Thank you very much. You speak French or just a few
No,
words?
I mean, like, I actually know a little bit French, but I mean, I have to work on it to like actually give a podcast in French. So, I mean, yeah,
Okay, so it will not be a French podcast, but yeah, I am French. But yeah, MultiversX is mostly English speaking community. But so let's pick English because I would not be good at Turkey.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
like, yeah, English is the common ground, for everybody. I think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Okay,
first of all, thank you very much, Atlas, for accepting my invitation because
of course.
um, before we dive in, I want to set the context. So, Predix was recently revealed as one of the projects selected for the growth program. So, we also learned about Philanthropy, but also Super Victor. And there's
Hmm.
Predix, a project that we did not know before compared to
Hmm.
Philanthropy and Super Victor that we know before. Please mute your mic when you
Yeah,
don't speak. Thank you very much. It's just for the audience. And naturally, that caught the community's attention, including mine, of course. And after doing some research, some of us noticed several potential red flags. So, first of all, as I was saying, thank you for taking the time to be here and to answer all of our questions. This conversation is important to us, but also, I think, to you, so you have the chance to clarify and explain your side of the story. Saying that, I invite everyone to go and read the thread that you posted yesterday in the evening, on which you, in a very short way, start to answer all the questions from the community. So it's a beginning, and we'll try to end this now all together live. So um, let's maybe start, Atlas, if you agree, maybe by introducing yourself, so your background, your role at Predix, and your key responsibilities. So maybe to start the discussion.
okay, of course. Like, first of all, before starting who we are, I actually like read some of the tweets that you have posted on Twitter. Like, first up, I was saying like, I mean, like he's saying some stuff about scamming and stuff like that. But when I read your tweets and I saw that like, I mean, he has a point. I mean, like, I mean, there's a lot of like missing information about that. So like, it's really important to clarify like what we are doing right now and like what kind of a development state that we are in right now. So like, this is why I'm here. I just want to clarify everything, and also like, I
What
also
you
wanted to meet you as well
what you
because like,
say what you say
yeah,
is important, and after we will follow, if you agree, the different questions I have. But what you say
of
in
course,
introduction is important. When I make such posts, let's be clear. I am just speaking loud what many people in private say.
exactly, exactly.
So it's not a vendetta. We don't know each other before,
Of course,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
absolutely nothing against the Predix. But yeah, that's an introduction. But we'll dive in every part of it. So let's, if you agree, introduce yourself, your background, and
Of
your
course.
role at Predix, please.
Okay, so I'm Atlas. I'm 23 years old, and we have been working on different projects for around 4 years or so. It's on blockchain, on AI, on gaming. We actually have worked on very different projects before. So when we talk about Predix, it's actually a project that we have been dreaming about for a while. So the project is actually a real life event trading website. That's what we call it. So we are differentiated from our opponents, or like our similar projects. I would say we are doing a more social fi thing. I'm like, I cannot disclose a lot of stuff right now because like we're in the very early development stage right now. But I can say that we are working on very different social fi stuff, and also we are trying to implement a new AI system inside there to make people trade on the platform much easier, and also make it automatically in order to in their context that they have in their algorithm. So like we were actually developing a platform like this for like we have been dreaming about this for around like 1 year or so. We came up with the idea, and right now we are trying to develop it, and we have recently partnered up with MultiversX, a partnership that we have been waiting for a very long time. So yeah.
Thank you very much. So, can you tell us about the story behind not just Prediqs, but behind Path Studios? So, how it started? Was it I don't know, like initially focused on which technology, and where it stands today as a development studio?
Okay, so as Pavstios, we've actually started the blockchain in 2021. We were working on a metaverse project. We have actually worked with a few big companies in our country as well when it comes to blockchain. But also, we have decided to work on other software stuff as well, because like our team is a compact team of 7 people, and also like we are working with other people as well. But like this is the core team that we have. So we have been, as I said, like we have been working on different software projects for a very long time, and uh, we have realized our company with our friends who have been actually working on different projects before as well, without any like funding reasons as well, because like we always love to develop projects. We always love to create some stuff for the communities, for different communities, and then we have decided, why don't we do it like as our jobs? So like this is how we came down here.
Okay, what you say is interesting because with some research, we can face that across all the past initiatives, whether under Predix, Path Studios, and other
Hmm.
brands, there have been many public announcements, ideas, objectives, and so on. But
Hmm.
we can't find any single project currently online, live, and usable. So,
Hmm.
can you maybe tell us if there is any project that is live at the moment, or why we can't find anyone?
Okay, yeah, I understand your concerns at this point. I mean, like most of the projects that we have worked on was startups. We were trying to build the project from bottom to top. But I mean, like in every project, if the funding is not enough, if there is some like obstacles in your way, sometimes things don't really realize in the way you have planned. So I mean, like some of the projects that we have worked on are not live anymore. So like we had to stop them because of like different reasons. But there are some business projects that we are doing B2B with other companies are still existing. I mean, like we have two games that are live right now that was built by us for a big big digital social media agency. No, not social media, but like big digital companies in Turkey. Do you know Remy game?
Oh no,
Remy. Okay. So it's called
but
Okay. I
I'm not a gamer,
No,
so
it's not like a game actually. It's more like a board game. Like it's actually played in real life. It's just a simulation of it on the online version. So like this is
okay.
the latest launch we had actually.
Okay, so can you tell us about the origin story of Predix? Why a prediction platform? So, how did the idea come about, and how did it evolve into your building now?
Okay, so we've actually been like looking around in the blockchain to see like what kind of a project that can we work on when it comes to Web3, right? So I mean, like at back then, Poly market was actually rising pretty fast, and like we have been checking out the prediction market stuff, and we have seen that prediction markets are booming right now, and also like I can see that like most of the prediction markets actually have very similar UIs and very similar technologies. They're just trying to get a market share by using their funding and also by using their name. So we thought, let's change it up a little bit, right? So this is why we actually came up with a new UI, new system. I mean, like maybe I shouldn't talk about this right now because since our product is not live yet, but we are actually trying to like move from Facebook to TikTok in Web3 right now on prediction market side. We are trying to change the UIs and trying to make things faster and trying to do it according to our algorithms. So like after that, we said, let's make it real on Prediqs.
Okay, let's speak about transparency,
Yeah.
team identity, and so on. So, with some research, it's possible to find members of your team. For example, in a pitch deck or in LinkedIn, link
Hmm.
to Path Studio. Yet,
Oh yeah.
you wrote yesterday that publicizing the team is unethical and counterproductive. So, in what way transparency about your team is unethical and counterproductive? Just to understand your vision about that, doxing and so on.
Hmm. So actually, doxing was our roadmap. So like in the detailed plan we have, we actually were planning to use doxing as one of the high points that we will have in the future after we have developed the project very well and like when it's ready for the open beta. But I mean, things sometimes don't go as expected on your plan, and this is life, right? So I mean, the doxing part is only about like the roadmap that we have right now about our project. So I mean, it's just the using the hype rights when it comes to our launch and stuff like that. It's just not like it's not that big of a thing actually, but I mean, it kind of changed up our plans, but not that big of a deal.
Okay. Do you know Path House?
Yeah.
So it looks like a parallel activity, or is it the same team under a different brand? Because this company appears to have been founded in 2014 and then
Hmm.
pivoted to blockchain in 2018.
Hmm.
So is it the same team, the same company, something different? Because we can find the same like path word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is the same team. This is it's set 2014 because like the idea that was founded in 2014 was different. In 2021 and 2020, around that time, we've actually pivoted to like blockchain and also like creating our stuff, our own projects, rather than like doing only B2B stuff and agency stuff. This is why I'm actually saying like we were founded 2021. It's not like because like the whole history that starts there. It's not the only reason, but Puffhouse also is a branch of our team as well to show people what kind of things are we are doing when we're building stuff.
Yeah, so I found this YouTube
Hmm.
channel, which is very fun, but because we can find like I don't know if it's your team having fun in different
Hmm.
places and so on, in Thailand and so on. So it's a Bath House, what I was talking about before. But what
Yeah.
interested me is this. So this sentence, it's the description of the YouTube channel. So it's written in Turkey, but if we
Hmm.
translate, it says a group of friends who have been creating and failing digital startups together for a very long time. Uh,
Yeah.
so of course, it's not very very good. But yeah, what is this topic? Is it just ironic or just a literal reflection of your track record?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like literal like track record, of course. I mean, like this is just kind of a PR that we have right now, right? So I mean, like since we are trying to build a community around us, that we are going to publish some stuff, and like we are also trying to show like what kind of projects are we doing, and also like what kind of things are we doing as a team as well as a friend of team. This is just like the team of the YouTube channel, I would say, right? Because like overall you have seen the videos as well, they're not only about creating a business, it's also about like how we have fun together as a team.
Yes.
So like since we have been together for a while, I mean like friendship kind of the friendship bonding kind of starts, right? So I mean like yeah, it's not like a serious thing, we are not trying to fail our startups in general like anybody else, but like it's just like a funny wordplay for people to like see and laugh about it.
Okay. Um, Have you deleted past tweets from other projects you worked on?
I don't think so. I mean, like, yeah, I'm like to be honest, I mean, like, especially at the start of the campaign as Puff Studios, I don't think we had a very strong social media skills back then. So, like, I don't think there's a lot of things about the project that we have done on the social media. But also, I mean, like, when you come down to like the Turkish market, I think you will be able to see much more stuff that we have done. But on the global market, I think we have lacked, especially for the first year or 2 years, some social media and engagement stuff. So I don't think we have a lot of stuff.
What you say is interesting because you say at that time maybe you didn't have social media skills. So let's speak. I wanted to speak about it later, but let's do it now about
Yeah,
credibility and public image. As I
yeah.
said on Twitter, branding and as I say often, your social media, your website are the way people see you. So if this image is not good, whether your project can be the best ever, people will not enter the store if the wall is not well is that beautiful. So maybe let's start by the website. So you're
Yeah.
selected for the Growth Games, which is a program that has been launched by MultiversX like 7 months ago with $1.5 million announced, plus
Hmm.
$1.5 million in credit on the TRBE platform, which is like a KOL collaboration platform. So it's more than $3 million budget. So it's of course theoretical, but it's something huge for the ecosystem. And you're selected among the project, but you don't have a website. And so you explained this choice because it's you're focused on building something that actually works. So I just quote
Yeah,
the
yeah,
post
that's
that
fine.
you made yesterday. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's perfectly possible to have a basic landing page without the DApp being functional.
Hmm.
And that is what the Versal instance was for, which you took down after I made it public. So why did you remove this Versal, which was the landing page of Prediqs before, instead of keeping a minimal public presence in Google with your website?
Hmm. Okay, so like first of all, I would like to start by the grant part. I mean, like, yeah, it says like 3 millions of the big budgets right now, but I mean, like, our project is like pre-revenue. It's just an idea stage, so like we didn't actually receive that big of a grant right now. But and
We'll
also
speak
like I
about
had to.
the
Okay, cool.
condition. No problem. It's just let's speak about the website, but don't
Okay,
worry.
sure.
We'll speak about the grant and the conditions
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you mentioned it, and of course it's important that you did not receive $3 million.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Not yet.
I mean, like, in the future, I hope, like, after
I
the
hope
project
for
is done,
you.
like, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
right now,
let's
yeah.
focus about the website and brand identity
Oh, yeah.
and online presence.
Okay, so like on the prison side, on the like the Versal website, it's actually a very old mock-up slash a demo. So like we didn't really want it to stay there because like we are planning to change a lot of stuff on that website. It's only the idea like how will it work, and also like it was connected with MetaMask. I think like you have also mentioned that. So like MetaMask was used there because like it was like a go-to choice, especially when you're talking to like institutional investors as well, to like explain them how Web3 wallets work and stuff like that. So I mean it is just an easy mock-up and also in an easy demo to like show the proof of concept that we have. So this is why we actually took it down, because we are planning to launch a landing page. We are planning to launch a introductory page about our project and like what are we planning to do in the future, like what's our roadmap and stuff like that. It will be out in the upcoming week or so. Like we're just working on it right now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And also, your X account raises several questions.
Which one?
Uh, the logo, free pick,
Ah, yeah.
the art direction, the tweets that are clearly generated with ChatGPT, no link to a website.
Hmm.
Before you explain It's something that is weird. So don't you think it would have been smart to hire a social media expert if you don't have the skills to clean up your image, your socials,
Hmm.
before your name was announced by Growth Games, because you knew, because after this announcement you would be spotlighted to a whole community. And I don't know if you know MultiversX, but we are a small community and we're a little bit conservative. And so, because we've been scammed so many times before, so we want to be sure you're not just one more scam. So that's why I, and with many others,
Hmm.
investigated a bit. And you know what? The more we find something weird, something strange, the more we will search more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that, like this is a typical thing that everybody should do. I think like it's a good thing that people are doing this right now in the community because like you have to know like what you are going to invest in or like what you are going to support in the community. So like I think this is like a
Exactly.
definitely thing that should be done.
We
Yeah.
agree on that. So, don't you think it would have been useful for you to clean everything, and to take some hours and maybe some dollars to
Hmm.
make it? I don't know, like because really it is, and it was full of red flags for experts like us with social media
Hmm.
and Web3 projects. So, what's your opinion on this 2 days after your name was announced?
Okay, so like this part is kind of like connected to the grant part as well, because like in order to do like certain things, especially when it comes to like social media, branding, and also like product development, you actually have to like burn some source to like create some stuff down there, right? So like we were actually waiting for to start building as well to like do our social media together. But I mean, currently we are receiving a grant, and after we receive the grant, we will be able to burn more money to the project. So like this is why we couldn't really handle the social media part, because like it's a very, very early stage for the project. I mean I understand the concerns, especially on the marketing part, because like multiverse is announcing us, and also like there's not too many informations when you see the other growth games partners as well. It's kind of concerning. I understand that part, but this will be completely removed. I'm not removed, but also like this will be completely changed, and it will be looking better in the following month or so. We're just starting right now, so like this is like a, as I said, like a pre-revenue stage for us.
When I listen to you, I really want to believe you, because you look honest, really.
Thank you.
But no, I mean, really. But you know what? It's not just about honesty. It's also about skills. About will you be able to be and to bring growth to the ecosystem. So my questions are not just here to tell you are a scammer or you're not a scammer.
Yeah.
It's also about are you just a little bit skillful, and yeah, skillful enough to bring
Hmm.
this growth. So just so you understand my questions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
of course, I use the title, the scam or growth opportunity. You know what is it? Because this is content creation skills. But let's be clear, my question are not just to try to know if you're honest or if you're not,
of
but
course, of course.
also if you have skills in marketing, business, technological development, and so on.
Hmm.
Let's continue with the MultiversX grant. You wanted to speak about it, and I think it's important to be transparent about it, because
Yeah.
as far as I know, we don't have any information from the foundation about how this grant are accorded. So I don't know if you have the freedom to explain how it will
Yeah.
happen, what's the deal with the foundation, but as far as you can tell us, why did MultiversX gave you this support and promised or maybe dealt a ground with you, despite you don't have anything live yet? So what exactly did you obtain, and under what conditions? Can you reveal? Can you tell us what is it about, as far as you can, of course, because maybe you have NDA or contract, and we fully understand this.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, I think like this was one of the most crucial parts because like when it comes to like this kind of projects, especially like when you are creating from bottom to top, you are just in the beginning. It's very important to understand if the team is capable of doing some stuff. And also like as you said, I mean like you cannot really see a lot of stuff about this, but also I have to also state that before we have applied for the grant, we've actually launched a product on sports that actually predicts the outcomes of the football matches, right? So that product actually went pretty well. We had around like 70% accuracy, and we received around 30,000 users in first month. So like it was actually a good time for us back then. And after that, we have started to work on. Yeah, you're showing something, I think. Yeah. So like on the technical side, I think they have seen some good stuff about our project. And on the grant side, I mean like to my information, I'm not 100% sure about that, but like we are one of the lowest amount of the grantees in the program. This is because like it's an idea stage, it's pretty normal. I get that part. And also there are some things that are going on, like because of the network that you have taken the grant. This is why they have considered you. I mean, it's not really true because like we were looking for different options as well in the market, not only MultiversX. We were actually trying to look around to find ourselves a good partner that would have good synergy, and also like our project would actually create some value inside there. This is how we actually met with MultiversX, because an initiative called Horizon in Turkey actually told us maybe you should link with MultiversX and talk to them, because like your project actually meets their synergy and their mindset. So this is how we actually started this thing. And
What?
also on I want to just say one more
Yeah,
thing. So like,
sure.
and also like MultiversX, I don't know if it's only for us, but like they don't just go around and like put money on the people. We're actually there are a lot of expected KPIs by them until we are getting the payments. So like it's not just like we got the yeah, you guys look nice, you guys look good. Okay, here's a bunch of money into the project. It doesn't really work like this, you know. I mean, so like
Yeah,
if we don't get that KPIs, it's just not going to work out as well.
we'll speak about the other grant programs that
Oh
you
yeah.
applied before, of course. But first of all, what amounts are we talking about? So if you cannot tell us about a precise amount of money, but it is thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, because as far as I know, it was about 50K per project maximum. With this $1.5 million grant. The same for Sovereign Chain grant program, $1 million up to 50K per project. This is what was announced by Benjamin Minku a few months ago.
Yeah.
So, what kind of grant did you apply for? Maybe if you can tell us just not maybe a precise amount, but what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's. I don't think it's like very ethical to like talk about the exact price. But I can say that it's definitely not 50K. You know, I mean, like, it's much less than that. And also, like, the main reason is because like the growth games actually have like a few different parts when you first apply to there. There's like a part for growing the business. There's a part for like bringing the business inside the MultiversX, or like building in MultiversX. So like we were actually on the part that is just starting them in the MultiversX. So like we are not like the one of the biggest grantees, because like we are just starting down there.
Okay, so you've applied for grants from
Yeah.
multiple ecosystems. So we found Questbook, Polkadot, Secret Network, Web3 Foundation, Ton, Divinity, Moonbeam, ICP,
Hmm.
Solana. So many,
Yeah.
almost everyone. But did any of them succeed? I think
Well,
if and why if it did not succeed according to you because it was before multiverse x.
mhm. Okay, so like there are actually a few different cases. I mean, like in some of the chains, they actually didn't want to work with this kind of like a project. There was like these kind of things, and also like there are some chains that we didn't want to work together. The main reason why we have actually contacted for the grant programs to understand what kind of projects we were the chains were looking for, and like which one fits our project the best. This is why actually we have gone to very different chains and to like understand like who is doing what. This was kind of like our main point, because when it comes to like especially on the business part and grant part, and also like the partnership part, it's really important to see like if your synergy is met with any other people. And like when it comes to MultiversX, I think there's a good synergy down here. I think we can make it work down here because I mean it seems like the energy was here, and also like the our roadmap aligns well with them as well. So I think we found MultiversX as our best choice, and I think they found us as their best choice as well. So we're down here now.
Okay, and had you ever heard of MultiversX before applying, and now after being selected, what's your perspective in the ecosystem? Did you dive in it? Have you met any founders? Have you spoke with any community members, or is just the start of your journey here?
Actually, we have known MultiversX even before it was changed. They have changed the name. I mean, like we have been aware of the chain for a very long time, and the main reason we have actually liked the chain was it's actually much easier for builders when it comes to other chains. This is like on the especially on the technical part of the sites for our technical team, they were the ones who actually liked MultiversX the most because it really helps a lot to the developers down there. So we haven't met a lot of people yet on the community, a lot of founders yet, but this is the main reason is that we're just starting right now. And like the in the upcoming months when we start to like build the product, especially for the beta version, I think we will be starting to launch some of the partnerships that we will have in the future, and also like we will be expanding our network inside the chain as well.
Okay. Um, Another question is about do you know Cyberpunk City?
Do I know what?
Cyberpunk City. It's a project in Turkey,
Uh-huh.
and they were building a metaverse NFT project with a token and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
they were on MultiversX before, so maybe, but they left MultiversX for Solana before
Okay.
rugging after losing their funds trading Trump meme coin on leverage. By the way, so do you know them? It's a question from a community member because you're from the same country. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, Turkey is big, and it's not because you're part of the same country that you have any relation with them. But I wanted to ask the question. So no, you don't know them.
No, I don't know them to be honest. And also, like, to my understanding, they have rugged and also left MultiverseX. So, like, I think they are just having a low profile right now. So, like, I don't
Okay.
think we will be able to meet them anywhere right now.
Okay. So let's talk about your blockchain experience because
Hmm.
building a prediction platform is not an easy task. There are
Yeah.
so many issues that you need to work on. We can speak about the Oracle, the smart contracts, the production deployment, the UIs, the UX, everything. So what's your actual experience with blockchain development and especially around the most critical parts of them, oracles, which are very important on prediction market, and
Yeah.
of course audit, security, and so on.
Okay, so first up, on the experience that we have right now, I mean, like, since we have been building in like software development for around 4 years, we our first start was actually about metaverses. So, like, we have actually joined an acceleration program, which is the biggest bank in Turkey. So we were actually trying to build a metaverse with connected with blockchain wallets to store your own metaverse on your own wallet, and then you can publish it on your own website or like in our platform. So we were actually working on a project like this before, especially on blockchain. So I mean, on the tech parts, our developers are pretty experienced, especially on the blockchain side. So on the smart contracts, we will need some time, and also like before we are launching anything, we will be doing everything on testnet with our beta testers as well. So like it's going to take a while until we're done with the full product. So I mean, like you will be seeing our technical understanding in the way as well on our roadmap. So also like on the Oracle side, like to be honest, it's not 100% right if I answer anything on the technical side. On a different podcast, on maybe like we're planning to have a space about like everything that we have right now on the project. If our CTO answers everything about the technical side, I think it will be much more clear for everybody who are following us.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, are you already in touch with some oracles that are working on MultiversX, for example, Umbrella? And second, um, what's your experience specifically with MultiversX? Because you know, every chain
Hmm.
has the specification. Different things, different
Hmm.
language, different tools, and you know, I'm not a tech guy, but I
Yeah,
know
I
some
mean,
things. So, what's your where are you in this part? Are you in touch with the MultiversX OG developers to help you, or maybe with Umbrella as an oracle on MultiversX, or really it's the start of the journey and you will get in touch after?
so like it's just start of the journey. As I said, like on the following months, especially like the first 3 months, this will be our first preparation phase for both technical, business, and marketing side. Because it's just as I said, like it's just pre-revenue, it's pre-MVP, it's just like we are starting from the bottom. So I mean, these will be done in the following month, and also like you will be witnessing these well as well. So like, I think that part will be easy, and also like the development part. I mean, I believe MultiversX right now works on a WebAssembly based coding system. So this is actually very helpful for us because like our developers have been working on WebAssembly for a very long time, and also like as I said, I mean like we have been following MultiversX for a very long time, especially when it comes to like the smart contract development. And I think, especially after the Barnard update, it will be much easier for our developers to work on it because, like, they're actually enabling much more developer tools right now for us.
Okay. In the pitch deck that we found online, you value your company $10 million. You
Hmm.
don't even have an MVP. You have like nothing live, just an idea, and you ask to raise $1 million. So my question is this fundraising strategy still relevant, or
Nah.
it was just a tentative to raise some fund with an idea a few months ago?
I mean, like it was actually like way back. We were actually like drafting out some pitch decks and like trying to put out some stuff down there. It might be a pitch deck. It's actually a pitch deck that we had to send at some point to some investors to like get the idea from them. It was actually like a just a draft of the pitch deck that we had. Right now, we are not fundraising, so I don't think like it that pitch deck is like that important for us right now. It was just like we had to do a pitch deck and send it to some institutional investors about the project. This is why we
So
did
the
that.
amount $10 million, 1 million to rise. These digits they're completely. For example, it's not accurate.
I mean, like when you go back and like see, I mean, like to get like a $1 million pre-revenue product, I mean, it doesn't like really show the mechanics of the industry. What do you think about this? I mean, it's
I
just
mean,
like
I think you can value your company $10 million when you at least have an MVP or
yeah,
something that is running.
yeah, or like you should be leaving OpenAI and trying to start your own business or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Um, what is a Path SDK? Is it available to use, or do you plan to make it compatible with MultiverseX?
Pop SDK is a very old product that we were working on. We actually have the the like demo version in our inventory. I've already talked about like the metaverse part that we had in the Turkish bank. So we were actually trying to build that Puff SDK, and especially back then, like it was like 2022, there weren't a lot of like SDK integration parts when it comes to a lot of chains. But I mean, like they're trying to like every chain is trying to easy up the process, especially when it comes to like integrating your own chain to other products. I mean, Puff SDK is available, but it's not 100% ready to be used. But in the future, when we are done with MultiversX part, maybe we will be able to launch it. But I mean, like it's not our main focus right now.
Okay. In March 2025,
Yeah,
seems like you were working on an AI-based sports platform.
yeah.
How did that project turn out?
I mean, project is currently running. We are not like burning a lot of money in the project right now. We are just trying to keep it open for our current users. and it's just a product that we're just currently using. I mean, like it works. It gives around like 70% of accuracy, and there's a lot around 25,000 users in the platform, so we are keeping it open for the people.
Okay. Let's speak about the token on Pump Fun. So you claim that the token launched 7 months ago on Pump Fun using your
Yeah.
logo, your links, your name on Solana isn't yours. So how do you explain someone having enough interest to use your name, community,
Mhm.
reputation to launch a meme coin? One that was clearly a failure.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's weird, don't you think?
I mean, like, yeah, it is weird, but I mean, like, when we go back and see like our socials and our like projects, I mean, like, we weren't even looking to launch a token. I mean, like, when I saw the Solana token that you have actually published, I was like, I didn't even know about the token until you have published it, you know. I mean, like, it was a really weird moment for us as well, but I mean, we are not even planning to launch a token for a very long time until we are fully ready to publish our product. We even after beta, after every demo is done. And also, like, I don't think we have talked about even launching a token in any place that we have right now. So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure why is that up there and who has done it, but I can definitely say that it's not on us.
Okay. Um, so let's finish by the market positioning and the competition thing, because in the pitch deck you claim that you're innovating in an untapped market, decentralized prediction. So how can you say that when Polymarket exists and dominates the space? So
Mhm.
and what exactly does Prediqs offer that Polymarket doesn't, or is it just the infinite scrolling thing? So tell us about your competitive positioning, and yeah, I think it's interesting for all people that are using prediction market.
Yeah.
Will it be innovative in a way?
Okay, so like first up, I've already talked about like the UI part and also like infinite scrolling and also algorithm part. But also there's actually a few more edges that we're using. Since we have been working with AI for a while, we're actually trying to implement AI inside there and help people to create polls on their own. So like in most of the prediction markets, people are not really creating any polls, and also like market is creating the polls for people to use, right? So in this case, we will be using our AI technology to validate everything that's been published by the community as a poll, to make it clear. So like as a user that you yourself, you will be able to publish polls inside there as well. And also like we are not only trying to make it like a prediction market, we are actually trying to create a social fi network where people will be able to talk about their ideas when it comes to like different topics. This is what we are trying to build actually. It's not only about predicting stuff. It's also about like engaging with people and talking to people about the ideas that you have about certain topics.
Okay. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Atlas. Do you have any, I don't know, word? It's the free part of the
Okay.
interview. Do you have anything to say to the MultiversX community, to, I don't know, the foundation, or anything about Prediqs? Take your time and tell us maybe what you want to tell us about, I don't know, the situation, the next steps, or just a global message, anything.
Okay, so like first of all, I think the first launch of our marketing was a controversial topic, you know. I mean, like a lot of things have already happened, but I mean, I can assure you, we will be developing hard to meet the expectations that we have from the MultiversX community, and we will be delivering a lot of stuff in the following months. And also, we will be trying to launch the beta version in the upcoming 6 months. And when we launch that part, when we launch the beta, there will be a lot of prizes for the people who will be joining the open beta and helping us to improve our product until it's good for everybody in the community. And thank you for having
Okay.
me as well.
Oh, no, no, it was a pleasure. Thank you for accepting this invitation. It's not an easy task, but you did it directly. And so thank you very much. Really, it's completely honorable from you. And we will let the community make their opinion. But yeah,
Of
if I
course.
can give you an advice, Atlas, please write your own tweet yourself or hire someone to do it. And yeah, try to polish a little bit the way you communicate and the brand and so on. With AI, today you can have a good logo with a little of reflection. You can think about the way that you speak, the way you show yourself. And unfortunately, sometimes what you show is more important than what you do. It's the
Yeah, that's
way it
right.
is on
That's
socials.
right.
But so take the time to
Yeah.
think about it. It maybe can be helpful. And before you leave, I would like to thank and to welcome Joachim, who made this interview possible, because it was at X Alliance, the one who made the introduction. So thank you and hello, Joachim. How are you?
Good morning, guys, and also mention to Lucas Chesication, who head of
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellence, who put this in
Show your
concept.
T-shirt. It's a Buga's one. Yeah, I
Lucas
recognized
one.
it.
Wait. Yeah, it was really nice listening to this conversation, and I say I think like we have when there's lack of information, people just go and look themselves and jump maybe a bit too quickly to conclusions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that was kind of the main takeaway. I feel like, and that's my very personal opinion, but it's like just a landing page with, because again, people found your pitch deck. We looked at the pitch deck, we looked at old videos, old podcasts, etc. And as you say, that was old products. Maybe your vision has evolved, etc. So instead of us seeing that old you, we would actually had the landing page that showed what you want to do now and what you want to achieve now. So I was just like, a landing page just to see what you guys are building would have been terrific. Is my
Mhm.
my 2 cents on it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely understand that part. Yeah,
we're
I mean, like we are lacking some stuff since like we're just on the beginning, but I think like the community's ideas will be changing in the following months. I can assure you that.
yeah, that's all we hope, and we want to welcome you on MultiversX and make sure you have all the
Thank you.
tools you need. So make sure you send a message if you need anything.
Yeah, okay,
You
thanks
you
a lot,
have
and also like thank you for connecting us as well.
you definitely have great guys in the ecosystem that can help you. Let's welcome and say hi to Davy. Hello, Davy. What's up?
Hey guys, can you hear me today?
Yes,
Hi,
perfectly.
Davey.
Do you want to say hi or anything to Atlas before we set him free?
Yeah, like nice to meet you. So welcome to
Yeah.
MultiversX.
Yeah, thank you. And also, before leaving, I have to say this, Davey, you guys have a insane website on Hotmail, especially. The design is like it's just dope, man. I just wanted to like point that out because like I was checking out your website yesterday. It was just amazing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was like it was both the design firm that we're working with and also the
Mhm.
developers that work at Atom that are pretty talented.
It's amazing. It looks
Um,
amazing.
and for this website, they won an award, website of the year in certain category, if I
Mhm.
remember. So yeah, uh, thank you very much, Atlas, for coming.
Yep.
Really,
Thank you.
I repeat to the community, it's not an easy task to come live to answer all the questions were not sent before. Atlas discovered them during the live. So this is what we love on GM Web3: unfiltered, uncompromised, real AMA. And so thank you again, Atlas, for coming. And yeah, all the best for the rest of your journey on MultiversX.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I hope for a good podcast for you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Take care,
Bye.
guys.
So, guys, I am very happy to have you. We were not here last Wednesday, despite you woke up for me, Joachim. Sorry for that.
And that was a very hard way alarm clock.
Yeah, I wanted before this Prediqs thing happened, we wanted to have a chat. I wanted to have a chat with you guys about a hot topic on MultiversX this week. It's about governance, and all started with a thread that Davy posted on X, which sparked different topics and pointed out the internal development often happens before the community discussion, which leads to default approvals, low participation, and a sense of a limited decentralization. So I would like to talk to you about different topics, different questions. But of course, guys, it's your discussion. So I just want you to continue this discussion. Of course, I invited Robert to join us in the show, but unfortunately, he missed my message. So we will have to do without him this morning. But I will give the mic to Davy first so he can introduce the topic since it was his post who started all the discussion on X. Yeah, Davy.
Yeah, so like let me give you some context on why I made the thread. So I usually don't want to create drama, so I didn't make it too lengthy with all the reasoning on why I made the thread, but I can go a bit deeper into details now. Like, and the reason why I made the thread was I someone told me about some things that could happen and are in discussion within the foundation. Like I know I'm not going into details on what that is. And the thing is, I asked myself, who decided this should be discussed? There should be business development on this, and there should be discussions that happen only privately. And so my worry is that even this time, what can happen is the foundation start researching, start designing, start developing, and at some point, once they finish it, all the things for this specific thing, they come with a governance proposal, and the community can only say, yes, I agree with this, or no, I don't agree with this. The actual negative part of this, there are two negative things, is that firstly, if there's something that is not in your liking, but you like 70% of the proposal, you're still going to vote yes because you don't want for the foundation to have lost time, or you don't want the foundation to further delay the upgrade of the protocol. The second thing that could happen is that you lost months of development and the community says no, and so you basically lost a ton of resources that at the end are paid by the community. So currently the MultiversX Foundation is not profitable. So all the value that basically all the engineering time that is spent by the foundation is paid by the community, which buys the token from the market, which funded the ecosystem at the beginning with the fundraise. So it needs to happen in a different way. Also, because who decides on the direction? So do we really want to be decentralized? Being decentralized also means that no central authority can decide on the direction. And so it should be multiple people that decide. Currently, it's not like that. We have a development team at the foundation that propose things, and at the end we have a CEO, so Benjamin Minku, that ultimately say, yes, okay guys, we can go with that. It's not decentralized. So the development of MultiversX is centralized. Are we good with that? And if we are, should we go all over X saying that we are decentralized? I don't know. That's the discussion.
Thank you very much for this very clear introduction, Davy. So my first question for you and for Joachim, maybe now, how do you see this affecting the genuine decentralization and community engagement on MultiversX? Maybe Joachim, you want to bounce on it? Yes.
Yeah, I need to give a bounce on my response. No, so I think what Davy showed is and presented is a very fair question, because like as they said, decentralization is a lot of different points. Like you can have a very decentralized network if the decision making is powered by just one or a few entities, is not as decentralized on the decision making. The transactions, the validators themselves are decentralized, but a certain point of centralization. That was one of the debates people had a lot with Ethereum and Infura. So basically, Infura is the infrastructure that connects most things to Ethereum, so MetaMask, etc. And there was an outage with Infura, and like half of the dApps, etc., couldn't connect to the blockchain. And that kind of showed that there are bottlenecks of centralization, even in the centralized model. But that coming directly from the core team, the people developing it, is another topic. And that's where, again, and I guess we get to that later, but like that's where a foundation and a core team are two different things, right? We've seen that on other blockchains, Solana, Ethereum. I'm not sure if Swiss has gone that way yet, but basically that you have the foundation and then they give grants or incentives to third parties, including the founding team for some of them, to propose improvement and develop protocol improvements. For example, Solana went from one team to another after the Fire Dancer upgrade because I think they went satisfied with something and they moved on to someone who proposed a different model. And that allows for competitiveness on protocol updates and also ensures that it's not always a priority seen by one private entity that are being focused on, but actually a foundation that has ideally no conflict of interest deciding with it. And since we don't have that, the second best way of doing it, or I would say even the best way of doing it, is to do it through governance, to do it from open discussion, as Davy is suggesting. And that's why I was quite strongly supporting Davy's discussion. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, you did. And because Robert is not here with us this morning, so guys, I will ask you, of course, to try to bring Robert's answers, but not just Robert's, because I think there's another one, Dobrita, I think, or maybe another one from, yeah, okay, who brought the foundation's answers, vision. So if you guys can with honesty, because I know you are, so no problem about that. Maybe try to bring the foundation's answers, and so we can challenge them after. And I repeat, of course, to the audience that I invited Robert, but unfortunately he missed my messages. As a user, as a stakeholder, as just a community member, do you think this governance situation can be a real problem, or because Robert says, you know what, the community is not taking part in the governance. Actually, we tried, we launched a different initiative, the Agora is open, and so on. But actually, just the community doesn't care about the governance and so on. So, do you think it's a consequence, or do you think it's a cause that the foundation does actually what they want? Davy?
So I start with some points. So usually when you want something to happen, you need to first prove to to believe in that thing yourself. And when we have, if you look at the Agora, for example, who are the people that are active there? They are mostly developers, they're mostly core developers, and people like me and Joaquim. So if you're looking for the top 10 people on the Agora, you have two of them here, ironically. And it's not good for Sazu. Like Sazu talks too much in idealistic scenarios. So of course you would like people to be active on the Agora organically, but it mostly doesn't happen for anything in life. You can't expect things to happen magically. You need to do the correct actions for that thing to happen. So what could help? A good thing that Joachim suggested was, for example, for the founders to be active on the Agora. If you look at Lucian Minkon account on the Agora, he only did one single reply in the whole time that the Agora was live. How can you say the community we expect you to be active on the Agora and to participate if even the top line is not active there and interacting with the community. I did some posts on the Agora. Did I receive a lot of responses from the team? Some responses from the top line? I didn't. So why should I be there if if it doesn't seem like they really care about my opinion? And to make a specific example of something that doesn't work with the current governance process, Joaquim was among the ones that wanted dynamic NFTs to happen on MultiversX. So they said to the foundation, okay, we want this to happen on MultiversX. We would ask you, foundation, to start developing this, and we need X, Y, and Z for our project. So, and what happened is that the foundation started researching, they started designing, and at some point they came up with a proposal that had like huge trade-off compared to what was asked. So at that point there were two options. Builders could say, okay, no, this is not what we wanted, and so scrape it and redo it, but they already waited for months and months. Or they could say, okay, this is not what we wanted, but okay, we'll accept the trade-off. It's not what we wanted. We'll have to do a lot of workarounds, and so it will not be as we intended. And it could have been different. Like if they started communicating with the builders when they started researching and designing the features, it probably would have come more tailored to what the builders wanted. And at the end, like since you're a blockchain and your goal is to build tools and infrastructure for businesses, if you lack the communication with businesses, you're basically not doing the first thing that you should do, which is exactly like building infrastructure for builders. Like you are B2B infrastructure at the end. This is what blockchain says. Yeah, you have some sending like coins, but is that? So they're basically failing at the main thing that they should do.
Okay, Joachim, maybe can you bring Robert's point of view
into this room?
Yeah, I summon Robert here. Yeah.
No, so basically what Robert is saying is that a bit what David started explaining is that like they believe, or again, I don't want to say that Sasu's point of view represents the foundation point of view. I think that is also very important because there can be sometimes a bit of contradiction between team members, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I just think that like everyone has their ideas that get mixed up with what they're actually doing, and that's completely fine. But basically, that they are doing the necessary efforts of communicating and announcing through different channels. So basically, what he's saying is that they do, I forgot, town halls. They do developer calls, etc., where they talk about what they want to focus on in the future, etc., and that we should take those moments to go against debates, etc., and that at that stage it doesn't need a formal process of them going through the agora, because the problem, he says, which again I disagree with, but we can get back to that later, is that the problem he sees is that if they make a proposal of something but then realize that actually they need to do changes because of technical limitations or the priorities change, etc., then suddenly there's something that the community has voted upon that and approved that they that is no longer needed, and that could cause backlash because suddenly we're developing something, we stop developing something that has been voted on. Again, I'll keep my opinion on that for later. So that was one of the points. Another of the points I'm trying to recall. It was a very long thread for the people who followed it along. It was a very, very long thread. And another
But
point was what Davy was saying, that like,
what
yeah,
we can say before you continue is you, Joachim, are a tech guy, contributor of the ecosystem for years now. Davy is a like business and strategy contributor of the ecosystem for years now. So you guys, it will be interesting to have your the backstage, like the reality. How do guys like you are involved in the governance in those like the builders call, what's happening, is it really possible to say your point, how is it possible to reach the team to bring them some feedback, some ideas, and so on. So that's why I think you guys are the good guests for today. I give you back the mic, Joachim.
So that is so. I think the problem is I've come to a stage where I've bonded with certain team members. I know who to talk for different things. Like I know people's different roles and what people can do. So I know go through directly to the people that I need. So, and that is an unfair advantage that I have as a builder because I've been here so long. I've built connections, etc. So I would even say that like I do not represent your usual builders interaction. I used to, and I used to be quite. I There's been times where I've been quite frustrated because you feel like you're publishing in certain Agora, developer, Discord, Telegram, etc., and you're not hearing back, or you're hearing back from someone that actually can't have an impact, so they are bringing it forward, you get lost in translation, etc. Well, now I just knock on the right door and spam that door, which again isn't ideal. So I think that the impact as a builder you can have is limited, and I think that's what brings. I think it's like, is it a vicious circle or like a positive circle, in the sense that like if you try a couple times to get involved and doesn't succeed, you just abandon. You just say, oh, it's pointless. Why am I wasting my energy doing this? The other way around, if you do something, and that's why I love the open source community in general, that if you do something and you see that people appreciate it, people give you feedback, people just notice you, it makes you want to give so much more. I'm just going to give a very random example that I did a couple of weeks back. There was a word game that had come out, and basically you could import custom dictionaries from a text file. And my dad loves Scrabble games, so I coded a quick script that allowed you to import any language you want. So I did Norwegian, French, and Catalan. And basically, I just posted that on GitHub, made it open source, and I've had like 10 pull requests of people wanting to add the language, etc. And like the fact that I respond quickly, add the languages, etc., keeps that thing alive, makes that people want to add the languages and can use the languages they want in that game. And I think that like that's the spirit, that's the mentality you want to have in an ecosystem that is built on openness, is that the people who contribute feel highly valued. Their pull requests, their GitHub contribution, etc., don't stay on red for weeks on end, and you don't have to like ping people. It is really proactive. The reality, I think, and that is the limitation, is resources. That takes resources. I think it's two things. It's culture and resources. Resources that you need people that do that and that have time to do that and not already under the water doing 20,000 things, but also a culture thing. And then, and I'm going to stop talking after that, we come to another, I think one of the biggest problems with MVX, at least at its start, and that's what Davy says. Most blockchains are just infrastructure, right? Their goal is to attract builders because builders attract users, and users create transactions, and transactions pay the validator, and it becomes a good loop. The problem was MVX core team, MVX Labs, decided to do their own product. They want to do the Apple suite of that. So they were using resources, again, foundation resources too, to develop their products. They were competing with builders, and a lot of builders was like, I'm not sure what to build. If it is for the core team to then build it and be seen as an official product, while mine will be a knockoff. And that created a scare for a certain time, without even talking about the fact that a token need to be whitelisted on my exchange, etc. There was a lot of like gatekeeping for builders and openness. And I think that even if they've realized there was a mistake and changed underway, there is still that kind of Apple culture, and the fact that like, I don't want to say they know best, but yeah, that they want to build the products, that the priority is what they would like to do. And I think that's where there's a bit of a difference in opinions with people like Davy and I, who are just like, no, your goal is just to facilitate as much as you can the life of builders. And that also goes through protocol updates. And that is why governance from the very start of development is important to get everyone involved in.
Okay, and do you know how the governance is handled on other ecosystem? Do you have any other examples of governance which, in your opinion, can be better based on other ecosystem? I don't know if you have any example, Davy, maybe which other governance works better or have I don't know, mechanisms that could be good for MultiversX, inspired of what's happening outside. Oh, I muted you. Sorry. Now we can listen to you. Sorry.
Yeah, I replied to Joaquim before, but I was
Sorry.
muted. So yeah, let me reply to what Joaquim said. Like, is a really good point making a discussion on how Iron started, Iron MultiversX, and what MultiversX is now. Because the community that was created at the time was a community that expected the foundation to come up with the main applications, to expected to come with the main business development, basically everything. So it's not easy. Like, the culture is not here for the community to contribute. And the main fault for that is the foundation itself, because they started creating a culture where the community didn't feel like they had to contribute, because the main contribution, like basically everything relevant in the ecosystem should have happened from the foundation. So this is what a lot of people signed for. So they signed for a foundation that was building an Apple suite type of ecosystem. So it's not easy now, because the ones that we have since the beginning, now we have in mind that, yeah, the foundation needs to come with this. The foundation needs to come with the right direction. The foundation is this like God type of individuals that know everything and they're always right. And I don't know how to change that, because it would mean saying to a big part of the community, and we're in part we're already saying that to part of the community, the reasons that you join MultiversX are not here anymore. And at the same time, we also have a lot of clashes between what we're currently saying. So we want open contribution, we want decentralization, we want this and that, and what is actually in reality. So we'll have to change actually the culture on the chain. And then, yeah, also money, operations, like, yeah, then you also need to execute. And I don't know, like on other chains, it is different because you don't have this culture. So you have a different culture. You don't have the community expanding the foundation to come with products. Because in fact, the foundation purposely never wanted to build products. Like Solana never built applications, Ethereum never built applications, Ethereum never didn't want to build applications, and for this reason, they had consensus being created and consensus creating MetaMask, for example, because they wanted to be credible neutral, and they didn't want for the ecosystem to rely, for the community to rely on the foundation to build products. We have only a few chains that are still doing this application thing, which are Hyperliquid, Sui, and maybe we'll find some more of them. But it's mostly about culture, because at the end, like the governance technical implementation is not that much relevant now, because you can't really enforce some things, and even if you can't, at the end, it's no formality for a lot of chains, because validators decide what to push into mainnet.
Okay, but maybe we can mention that this 100% protocol layer involved blockchain gave a lot of money to like external teams to build the apps and the protocol instead of building them themselves. And so the answer from the foundation to why they decided to build them themselves is we didn't want to give money because we didn't rise as much money as the other blockchain that we mentioned before. And second, we wanted to have all the onboarding apps, all the the basics like a launchpad, a dex, a wallet, and so on at our image to onboard the next billion people. And after they will be developers arriving and so on. So they will develop the rest of the ecosystem. This is how I understand their strategy, and maybe you have another vision about that. Yeah, Davy wanted to
Yeah, we
come.
don't have the numbers, but like how much money did they spend acquiring trust? How much money did they spend acquiring TwistPay? So did they really not have money to give grants to like valuable projects to build a MultiversX? I don't think so. It was a decision. So I, we don't have the numbers, and this is also not good for transparency. But we can expect for them to have spent some millions on acquiring those companies, and also how much money did they spend on managing those companies that were not profitable. So X Portal, like building X Exchange, they also spent millions on that. So they had money to give grants. Like you don't need to give millions to every project. Like you can even give grants of, I don't know, 100K project, and they would have the money to build.
Yes, you're right. Joachim, you wanted to up, and actually you will double up.
Yeah, I'm doubling the answers. I think what Dave is saying is very interesting. Is basically, and it goes back to your question, Jeremy. It's like even if you pay a third party to do something, which is normal, there's nothing bad about that. And I would actually say it's quite good because like it's one more builder indirectly. You've paid someone to do it, so suddenly it adds a builder to your ecosystem that once they're done building that product might actually decide to build another product, will have their own support, will have their own thing, because that is also one of the bottlenecks, right? All the resources of customer support, etc., still exist on the MultiversX team, even if some of the products have been divided. So you're kind of creating products that you need to maintain, even though it's the same team creating them. So as Davey said, I am also part of the thing that they had funds. Yes, they only raised like a little bit, but obviously then the token performed. They had a massive treasury. They were even willing to invest over 100 million into improbable IO. So there were funds. The reality is that they wanted those funds were used internally and for internal ideas. What's the problem with that is that either it works, and if it works, you're the king of the hill, you're Apple basically, because you have this very well connected ecosystem, you have a very distinct UI that is smooth against your products, etc. Like, if it works, it's great, but like it's the biggest gamble in Web3 history because you're basically all counting on yourself to succeed. Or you go the other way. If you make a lot of smaller bets on a lot of builders, yes, most will fail, but it doesn't matter because they've tried to build something and you're not the one who failed. You just supported someone who failed. And that is a very, very, very different reality than, for example, Davy talks about X money, fiat, and crypto. But we could even talk about the example of X Fabric. Like, how much resources, internal resources, and therefore money did the development of X Fabric cost for in the end to be scraped shortly after the demo went out? Um, like that is extremely costly because not only did they cost them money with wage, etc., it's also resources they could have used. Thank you, Jack. They could have used for protocol updates because now we're kind of like catching up on the delay of blocks being quite slow on MultiversX compared to other chains. While if their only focus was let's make building on MultiversX super easy, let's make transactions, let's make the protocol as competitive as we can, and that is it. We're not creating any products that we leave to the others. Who knows? Maybe Supernova would have already been live by now. But yeah, I'll pass it back to you, David.
Something else that I've been thinking is, since they had their own projects, so export and easy change, I think they probably lost a lot of time doing internal discussions, strategy, business development, only specifically for their own projects. Like how many discussions happen internally for the strategy of this exchange, for example? I guess a lot of them. If this exchange weren't a reality, and so they went for grants to external projects to build a MultiversX, I think also their own mentality, strategy, and culture would have been different. And so a different mentality where instead of asking yourself, how can I make my own project succeed? The mentality change into how can I make the whole ecosystem succeed? Because I don't think this discussion happened as much as we needed. And also now, like I'm not seeing that much strategy happening. Like we have a DeFi project like launching today, no? It's good. Like I'm not against that, but I see that there's not really ecosystem strategy because they are replicating something that could have been different, could have differentiated the ecosystem and work in tandem with what we already have. Also, other examples are Ashwab team was building an EBC connection with Cosmos, and MultiversX decided to work on that at the same time, and so they had to basically scrape all the research that they did. And this speaks to me not enough communication and not enough system thinking, which is extremely needed because we are building something that has value because of the compound value in the ecosystem. So basically, you have different applications that compound because of composability, and that's the moat. Like that's what makes blockchain really valuable. But if you're not willing to get into these deep discussions for that, how can you ensure that you use resources at the best possible in the best possible way?
I think
Yeah.
we're totally aligned, Davey, and we've been for a while. And as you said, like there's this mentality that I think like there's still residues of it internally that makes that. And as we said, like there's been these discussions of potentially economical discussions, etc. And like, and you see that it's this is this part of like, oh, we'll make a proposal to the community so the community can approve it, as is what has been happening with a lot of things. I'm going to take the example of X Exchange V3. There was a governance vote, the first governance vote on the chain for governance for X Exchange V3, and it was basically, do you want X Exchange V3 or do you not want X Exchange V3? And X Exchange V3 included a lot of things in it. It included obviously the new UI improvements, etc., but also included the new max economics. And basically with the whole energy model, etc. And basically, I'm not saying I'm against it. I think there were certain parts that could have been done differently, but that is up to everyone. But basically, it's like, do you want to approve this thing that we spent 1 year doing, or shall we scrap it? There's no middle ground. There's nothing. While real
And
governance,
it's everything or nothing.
yeah,
So it's
exactly.
completely binary. It's too late to involve in the different discussions. So yeah, it's definitely discouraging. And you know what? When we see the percentage of the vote, it's almost like 99% or
Yes,
98% for a
98
yes.
usually. Yeah.
So it's like like a totalitarian country election
It's
rate.
pointless. It
It's
just
completely pointless.
it just
I
gives the
made
illusion of choice.
yeah, I made a post about this. It's just marketing. So the problem is even in governance, the marketing is not well done. Marketing would be better if it was 80%. So you give the impression that there is discussion. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
99% is like a Putin election rate. It's even more than a Putin
but
election rate.
and that goes back to Bernard, which is quite interesting. Is that for something to be approved, if someone from makes because now we can block 500 EGLD makes a proposal, etc., they need over 66 approval rate for it to pass. So it's not, you don't need a majority, you need a super majority for it to pass. So, and that's where like it just means that a lot of controversial points wouldn't make it. Like it's kind of funny because if you think about, for example, I'm going to take the French elections as an example. we would never have a president. We would just keep revoting and revoting and revoting because no president in the last decade, I would say, has had more than 66% votes on even on the second round when there's only two people left. So like, and I know it's inspired by the Cosmos governance, which has good and bad things, but basically that's the issue, right? It's like we want this hyper confident vote system that if there is any form of controversy, it doesn't create any changes. Um, and we want to do the proposal when everything is ready. Well, I think it would have been so much more interesting that, like, yes, there's a bit of initial research by MultiversX Labs or by private other actors now that Burnout is live. And there's like, okay, we have this suggestion for a protocol update, and it's divided in 10 different points. We're going to make 10 different proposals that we want to make part of a release we're going to call Champagne Supernova. And in those, but you're going to vote on each of those 10 points. Maybe there's two of those 10 points that are not going to get a super majority and therefore aren't going to get picked. And therefore you only have 8 part of that release. And that's completely fine. And yes, on the way, there might be changes, there might be updates, etc. And that's completely fine. We're not trying to slow down or make it extremely rigid. What we just want is to people to feel involved and have a say on every single feature that the protocol is going to have. Because indirectly, if they are part of the conversation, they will be much more ready when it comes. We've had a lot of releases where the features that come with it haven't been used because people weren't involved in the creation of those features, in the development of those features. And it's a bit the same. We had the big topic on gas penalties, and I'm not going to restart that whole debate. But a lot of projects, including official projects, um, still had gas penalty issues after Bernard went live, um, because not everyone had been kept up to page on how to do it and how to calculate it. And actually, one thing that we had been promised would be ready before Bernard came a few days later. But it's just like having a proper conversation about each point would feel builders and users much more involved. And yes, and that's where Robert Sassu comes back and says, yeah, but like it's very technical. People don't care about technical, but some do. We're not expecting everyone to care about everything. But like if you talk, for example, of egld economics, most people will care. Most holders will care. Most holders will get involved. That's not technical. That's economical. Does that mean that everyone will have valuable opinions? No, but that's decentralization. That's democracy. You allow anyone to have an opinion, even if you like it or not, even if you think it's stupid or not. That's part of it. And then for technical things, you will have more technical people who will answer it. And if they pass it to the vote, people will go vote because they will feel that they want to have a say, and maybe they will listen to people they follow that they know are technical for it, and it actually has this good effect that it creates a community where people listen to technical people, people listen to economical people for the different topics, and that's a very healthy system, and that's what democracy should be about.
I agree with you totally. Joachim, uh, sorry, Davy.
Yeah, also like when we had this like discussion with builders, like something that I also ask myself is like the reason why they didn't want to make a gradual decrease with the gas estimations is that they would need to rework some code and probably delay the protocol upgrade by 1 or 2 weeks. The question that I ask myself is why are you deciding it's not worth it to delay 2 weeks the proposal? So why do you have this power to decide it's good to push the update even if it goes against some builder's opinion only because you don't want to delay the protocol upgrade by 2 weeks? So you're basically pushing for that decision to be taken by the community without the community even knowing about this issue. So I don't know, like it doesn't feel like really decentralized governance to me.
It is not at all. And you know what, Joachim, I found one of your message was the most acid one, in my opinion, is when you said there are so many projects that you decided to launch and that failed, or never came to live. And actually, you never asked for the community about it. I don't know if you remember this post. You were mentioning, of course, all the X thing. Um, my question is, and I asked you directly, so I want to ask you live. When MultiversX announced at X Day and before and elsewhere about this products, about the strategy, we will launch X Fabric, we will launch X this and so on. Most of the community were like congratulating, we're saying it's great, it's amazing, it's an Apple ecosystem, all branding the same. So everybody was happy. Everybody said it's great, it's huge. I mean, publicly.
Sure.
But that's the way. And after it fails, or after the strategy has changed, focusing on the L1, everybody says, yeah, it was a mistake, you should have asked us, and so on. So let's be honest. Don't you think the community is part of the fail? Because it's easy at the end of the movie to say, I knew who was the murderer. So that's my question, especially when guys like me and many others are criticizing the strategy and so on. We're called fudders, but actually, you know, so I let you answer, Joachim, because I know that in private you're everything except cult boy, but in public you are more and more critics. But before it was you were not. So Joachim
Yeah.
first, and after Davy. So with a question to summarize, what's the role, what's the responsibility of the community and the builders who maybe said nothing at the time in the failing and the governance as it is at the moment? Thank you very much, Joachim.
So I think there's two things. The first one being that, as we've said earlier with David, there was a culture thing, right? That MVX was this Apple solution with their own products. So I think there's two main X days, right? There's the X day in Paris where the rebranding took place, and there was the launch of, well, X World was announced.
Weddings
Um,
Day. Weddings Day.
that's the $10 million questions. No, but like, and there was I can't remember what it was called, but like there was kind of like the old version of X Fabric. I can't remember what it was called, Metaspaces or something like that. And like they showed EAPS as an example of it, where like projects would have like kind of like the blog that was part of X Spotlight that wasn't called X Spotlight at the time. Anyway, and so there was a lot of product announcement, including X Photo, etc. There's two things. There's the marketing announcement and there's the reality of things. I think that is one thing, right? Like the Apple has a tendency to announce a product when it's ready, or it's going to be ready like the next month. The exception being the Vision Pro that was announced well in advance, but again was for development purposes and because they opened it to builders. But anyway, the main goal is like they announced something very exciting, and we had a bit the same recently with all the AI features of Exporter that got announced during X Day Bucharest, and then the AI feature we got on Exporter last month was kind of night and day between what we got announced. So that's one thing. Like, and the second thing is I remember X Day Paris very very well because I was very excited about it, even though not about all the announcements, but basically I was sitting next to Tikapo during a lot of the presentations, and we were discussing. I was like, "This gives Apple vibes," and I'm not sure if this is a good thing. Like they're announcing product after product after product, like just one more thing um, gimmick. And the problem with that was like, what they don't talk about us. They don't talk about us, the builders. They're talking about all those great products that the user will be able to use. And again, the culture at MVX at the time was that it was, and from the community was that. The problem is how do you migrate from that to what they're trying to be now, with less focus on new products, etc., more focus on protocol, attracting users and builders? The problem is you have a community that has been educated to that, and then suddenly you keep looking at the MultiversX account and it's like, when's the next new product? When's the next new feature? And the only thing you see them talking about is protocol updates and other projects that aren't theirs. And I see that as very positive, but I think there's people who were used to the big announcement that are still saying, oh, we got promised so many things in the past that aren't being developed or aren't being released, and there's nothing new coming. I'm no longer getting excited of MultiversX as a private company providing products. They just seem to focus on infra, which again, I think is a great thing, but it means that the culture needs to change from people getting excited about third-party community projects and not the official products of MBX. In the same way as if you look at the Ethereum Foundation, it's boring as hell. Like if you're just a consumer, like very nice mug, ex London edition. So um, ex the most foundations are boring as hell, and most core developers teams that do protocol updates are boring as hell to follow, because the what they talk about is for builders by builders, and that's it. The exciting part is everywhere else. While on MDX, we're kind of used to looking at this main account and it's like, oh, if there's something exciting, it's going to come out from there. So I think there's a culture shift that is happening slowly. But the problem is we still have many holders that, because a lot of the products either got cancelled or never released, are still just like, oh, but they haven't dropped something in forever. But that's not true. It's just that they've decreased their resources and are now focusing on what matters the most as the core team, which is the protocol and attracting builders. So I think they're on the right direction. I just think it needs to go faster and harsher in a sense,
Okay,
especially
but
with the
did you answer my question about the
yeah.
responsibility of builders who kept silence or were encouraging all the strategy, all the decisions, all the features, all the product that the company decided to launch, and now they're saying, guys, you'd never consulted us and so on.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
Davy.
I'm definitely on the this I was definitely on the silent part. But like we had certain chats, etc. But I'm more of a private doors person, which has is a double-edged sword, because you're just like, we're supposed to be this open, decentralized net, or we are this open, decentralized network. So communication and feedback should be too, right? And it shouldn't be considered third as soon as you disagree with someone. Um, and so I've come to agree that debates should be held publicly, even if opinions are unpopular, etc. Because then you can't. There's one very powerful thing that you can do and is used in lots in totalitarian entities. It's just like, you can file a complaint or you can give your feedback through this private channel and you'll hear back from us. The beauty with that is that you can convince that they're the only one having this opinion. And there was a very big scandal actually in the UK a few years ago about post offices. The post offices, to say very quickly, are privately owned, and they license the right to be a post officer, but they have to use accounting software from a specific company, etc. Basically, everyone had problems with this accounting software that kept doing mistakes and saying that they were making more money and therefore had to pay more money than what they actually did. And people were filing complaints to Post Office Limited about this software error, but because it was done through private channels and no one was speaking publicly about it, Post Office Limited kept saying to them, "You're the only one having that problem. The problem must be you. You have to pay the difference, etc." And so that is the limitations of private channels, and I think that's why they are dangerous if they
So
are not being used
do you
honestly.
So do you and after I will let maybe Davy speak if he wants. Do you regret for not having maybe more vocal, more public, or you keep thinking it's the good way to do? Um,
I think
yeah.
it's a balance in how you message it, and I think you should. I still think you should try private channels first. If that doesn't work, going public. But also, I think there needs to be more entities like X Alliance, etc., that feels that you can give your opinion to a smaller group first. We have that group in France too, with Early is a private French group, but like where we can actually give feedback and hear other people's opinion before taking it further. And that also gives you the confidence that it makes sense. And I also think that's why people consider us, the French, to be very complaining, is because we actually complain together in a private group and then go publicly about it, about certain things. But like to give an example where I wasn't silent was XSafe. XSafe was announced during X Day Paris, and we have been working with Gappa Labs
Is it
on.
the stuff that minted 400 quadrillion USDC?
No, that has nothing. No, you can't blame the XSafe on that. That is an indirectly that could have been done with just the multi-sig contract, but it wasn't even a multi-sig contract problem. It's just that it worked well with that one. It was the simplest way of doing it. Anyway, basically XSafe got announced, and it was actually developed by a third party, and now has been taken over by Misha of VLIP, which I think is a very good thing. But basically, because we were missing, and there was a lot of scams happening at the time, etc. So we were saying, let's do a UI for multisigs, so people can use it without having technical knowledge, etc. So we started developing it, and then we kind of found randomly on DevNet, we found the official, actually done by the team, which actually never got published because XSafe went live. The official product by the team, and basically we made a tweet as Garpa saying like, this is why we won't continue development of our multisig solution, because we're seeing that MBX has already worked on one, and that there's no point then, because we won't be able to monetize it, we won't be able to generate any revenue from it, so why waste more resources on it? Even though the monetization plan wasn't that great, it was mostly just to give solutions to the community. And then kind of like XSafe came like 7 months after X Day, so like, but it was like this. I kind of wish that when we did this public comment, somebody come to us and say like, no, keep doing, we need more solutions, no matter what, etc. But it didn't, so we dropped it. But I still think that like that's the kind of small things. So I would say, yeah, I remain mostly silent on things that I disagreed with and gave my opinion in private. And yes, I think that the problem is when opinions are taken for entertainment or clickbait or whatever you want to call it, and are actually not being used to bring constructive feedback, but just to generate content. And we've had a few instances those last couple of weeks or months about that, where like it's not even productive, it's just taking every feedback and turning it into something negative. And that is the limitations of social. But that's where you just need to split the criticism from how it is delivered. Because by the end of the day, it's the content that matters.
Davy, you wanted to say anything about this point, the responsibility of builders and community members for not being um, vocal enough? Yeah, you are unmuted.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, like it's also a matter of actual results and execution. So when they came with, I never liked the idea of its fabric personally. So people privately know about it. But let's say about XHA. So I wasn't against the foundation building its own DEX because of, I don't know, because I thought at the time that they had the skills and the knowledge to build something innovative. The issue is that what Exchange built was not really innovative. So we need to face reality. Like the actual model of Exchange is a pretty simple AMM DEX. They don't have anything innovative into the capital efficiency, which is what the market cares about. And that's it. Like they never came with something that actually was deserved the attention of the wider crypto market. So they never came with something as innovative as CowSwap, as FluidDex, as I don't know, as Hyperliquid with their purpose change, Uniswap with 3 V4. So they built something pretty easy, and they didn't seem to understand what was actually needed. When it came with this fabric, like I know some people, even myself, tried X fabric, and what they came up with after months of development was not enough. Like the product was pretty simple, and it didn't have a chance to succeed and be competitive. So potentially what they did was extremely risky, but could have worked. Like if we look at other blockchains like Hyperliquid, they made a big bet as well. So they built their own application, they built their own L1, which is almost entirely relying on a single application, which is their purpose change, and it's working. So it's a possible successful strategy. The issue is that the way that they executed this strategy didn't work because the products that they built are not competitive enough to
But,
attract ton of
but
users.
let's take your example of Hyperchain. Hyperchain is an app chain. Like, let's be honest, Hyperchain is an app chain, right? And there's a lot of app chains that are designed to solve one simple product, to be adapted to one simple product, and that's what makes them extremely good in that one feature. MultiversX never pretended to be that. MultiversX pretended to be like blockchain at the scale of internet. It wanted to be classic L1 that you can build anything and that is adapted for everything and not specialized in anything, like Ethereum, like Sui, etc. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that's why I was very excited about MultiversX. But you can't succeed. I don't think you can succeed with the strategy of building your own products then. I think like either you make an app chain because you know a product and there's no chain that is adapted to it, and you want to design it your way, which is what we're doing with Galpa, or you want to create a chain for everyone to build them. Then it's not your role to build products.
And also, like, you need to understand how to allocate resources. So at the time where MultiversX was acquiring companies, Solana was spending those money on hackathons. So it was a different strategy. And it was an error, like it's clear now. Like they could have come with some extremely innovative application. So if exchange came with the same innovation as Hyperliquid, like we wouldn't be here talking negatively about the old foundation strategy. But it didn't happen. So they had the strategy, they failed with that. They didn't manage to succeed with a good execution. And now we're here trying to find ways to solve to make the change successful after they basically failed at that.
So let's try to finish this discussion by, I hope, an optimistic point of view. Do you think by reading the answers from core team members, do you think your post has been heard by the foundation? Do you think things will move? Robert opened the door to governance call or something. Maybe you will remind us. And yeah, do you think things can change in the coming month? Maybe not before Supernova, because as always, things are way too much advanced to change anything now, but maybe in 2020, 2026. So what's your vision about that? Maybe Davy first.
It could be like, I hope so. I hope it actually happens. So if I came to publicly with a criticism, so it wasn't really that direct. So I always try to be to not create too much drama. Is because we already talked with the foundation about this issue many times, and also many months before. So it's not something new. Like it's something that we criticized the foundation already, and at some point, like as I said, someone told me about something that they are discussing internally, and so at that point I said, okay, the discussions that we had, the criticisms that we made them, it wasn't well received, and so I'll go public with this. And yeah, I hopefully hope so. Like, for example, now we have the economics and so they proposed some changes to actually solve some critical issues that we're going to have. And I want that discussion to be public. I don't want for the foundation to design things, to come up with all the solutions, and then come with a proposal for the community to say yes or no. That's not something that I want.
Oh, we lost Joachim. So, Davy, yeah, you will continue to try to make the governance improve. But yeah, I think as like everybody, if you have the feeling that all your contributions or your opinions or your feedback are not heard, the risk is that you discourage. So it would be a pity for the ecosystem.
Yeah, so let's say that in general, it's really difficult to convince people to participate in governance. Like there's this thing like they call it governance apathy in other chains. So even extremely successful protocols don't have that much participation in their governance. It's even worse if you don't make any effort to
The thing
avoid
is,
governance apathy.
I think it's not about how if people will use it. It's to allow them to use governance. You know what I mean? So if all the mechanisms are good or well thought, if people don't use them, it's up to them. But if the mechanisms are not favorable for a good governance, it's up to the foundation, and it's one more perimeter for attacks against the foundation. So they should do anything they can to make it better. If people use it, fine. If they don't, it will not change. Foundation will do what they want. You know what I mean? So it's just about making what they can, what it in their control.
I think the actual goal is building something as the internet. So the internet doesn't have a company that rules things and develop things. So it's mostly contribution from companies all over the world. But if we want that to happen in 20 years, 30 years from now, what are the actual things that we need to do to move towards that future? Because at some point, we'll not want to pay every year a foundation to develop the protocol. The ideal solution would be for different external entities to contribute to the protocol. So if we look at Solana, they're trying to enforce that by paying external software companies to develop the protocol. So we have Anza, we have Jump, we have also other smaller companies. The foundation itself is not developing much at Solana, almost nothing. Like mostly is BD people going around and setting the business things, and that's it for Solana. For Ethereum, it's not like that yet, but from what I see from the discussions, even them want to come to that ideal result. I don't know when, maybe 10 years, 20 years from now. Same thing as is for the internet, same thing as is for a lot of open source infrastructure or protocols that we have now on the internet. They don't have a specific company. They have open contribution from everyone that actually works. Like it's the most decentralized outcome. And so do we want that? I think yes. Like it's the best thing if we want to really build something decentralized.
Okay, we'll keep watching the evolution of governance. Now, thank you very much, Davy, for coming this morning. Won't be back as work on the flat. Okay, Joachim will not come back, but he says bye-bye to the audience and to you. Davy had some internet problem. Thank you very much, Davy, for coming this morning, and all the best for you this summer. See you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too. So this show is over. I hope you enjoyed the AMA with the COO of Prediqs and this very interesting and insightful discussion around MultiversX governance. If you liked it, share it, like us, subscribe to our networks, and see you next Wednesday for a new GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye-bye.